Behind us is the Peugeot 3008.
Well, Michael, I think you may have your wires crossed because this is actually the 5008, the 7-seater.
Well, that's an easy mistake to make because they do look very similar from the front.
There are some differences when you get to the rear though, especially that roofline. In saying that, I'm going to be looking at the exterior, the styling.
I'm going to be taking a look at the practicality, the functionality.
And then we'll both be driving it.
Then we'll bring you our verdict on whether or not this is the car for you. Stepping into the 5008, you can see they've got the German premium brands in their sights. The cockpit style layout, the high quality chromes, these Lamborghini-esque switches. It definitely gives the Skoda Kodiaq a run for its money. There's soft touch materials along the top of the dash with stitching. There's these stylish fabric inserts, soft touch materials along the top of the doors, and even when you go lower down, the hard plastics have a nice feel to them. When it comes to functionality, you're not going to fall short. On this Allure model, we have all-round electric windows with power folded heated mirrors, the iCockpit system which displays things like your sat-nav and your media. You've got your controls on your steering wheel, automatic lights, automatic wipers. You've even got paddle shifts. So there's adaptive cruise control. The infotainment system is touchscreen. You have sat-nav, Bluetooth, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. In the central area you've got a wireless charging pad, a 12-volt socket and USB. This car's packed full of kit. There's blind spot detection in the door mirrors, lane keep assist, 360-degree camera. On GT line models you get a panoramic sunroof and electrically operated massage seats. When it comes to practicality, there's loads of headroom and loads of legroom. There's plenty of adjustment in the seat, and there is reach and height adjustment in the steering wheel. The door bins are large enough for a cup of coffee. There's also 2 cup holders in the centre here, and you could probably fit your entire lunchbox in this central storage area. The glove box is on the small side, but to one side there is a deep recess. Overall, a very practical car, perfect for the entire family. When it comes to practicality, there's loads of headroom and there's loads of legroom. You can adjust all 3 of these seats individually, and they also do recline. There is sun blinds on the doors, and despite the fact that we have the tinted privacy glass, it's not claustrophobic back here. There's pull-down picnic benches, perfect for children, and there's air conditioning, a 12-volt socket, and decent sized door bins. There's even Isofix on all 3 of these seats. You'll have no problem carrying 3 adults or 3 children back here. Now, getting into the back as a 6-foot adult isn't the most dignified thing in the world. However, once you're back here, on shorter journeys, 2 adults are going to be fine. There's just enough headroom and there's just enough knee room, and that's as me as 6 foot. Now, 2 children back here would not have a problem. There's a little cup holder recess and a 12-volt socket back here. Coming to the boot of the car, you have got a power tailgate. Once you are back here, you've got around 1,000 litres of space, depending on how the centre seats are configured. Now, first of all, press that button so that the tailgate doesn't decide to eat you because you activate it with your feet. The parcel shelf is nice and easily removable.
There you go.
And once you are back here, it's nice and easy to get the rear seats out. You just pull them up like so. Then put the flaps back down. And the job's done. Now, if you want more space, you can remove these seats altogether. And they are not actually too heavy. When it comes to putting the seats back, it's just as easy. You can then put everything back to normal nice and quickly. All 3 of the central seats fold flat. They are also individual, so you can configure the car to how you want it. There is a 12-volt socket and also tethering points on offer back here. Once the seats are folded fully flat and the car is at its maximum capacity, it's just over 2,100 litres. The parcel shelf is just as easy to put back. There is a space saver spare wheel on offer as well.
At the front of the car, you can clearly see that Peugeot are going after the premium German brands with this sculpture, and also the whole look of it. It's a step away from the previous 5008 and 3008 MPV style vans. The overall look of the 5008 is very good. It's the kind of SUV you want to be seen in. Got lots of chrome and the sculpting, as I mentioned, and then when you combine it with the LED running lights, the front fogs, the parking sensors and all the autonomous aids, from the side you can see the vehicle's got a raised ride height, you've got the clamshell bonnet, you've got the arches, you've also got this rugged plastic styling, and that makes it into a real sport utility vehicle. It's for those with an active life. Combine that with the 18-inch alloy wheels, keyless entry, power folding mirrors, and when you hit reverse they'll even tilt down so you can see your surroundings. And then when you get to the rear, one thing to notice on this 1.6 diesel is that it actually runs on AdBlue, and the executive feel is carried off with the privacy glass. And one thing to notice, when you open the door on this vehicle, the doors do cover the sills so you won't get muddy trousers. Stepping round to the rear of the car, the sporty appearance is carried off with the roof bars, this boot spoiler. You've also got this chrome plate, which is perfect when you're loading. You've also got a reversing camera, which is actually a 360-degree camera, and if you've noticed there's no exhaust exits, and we've got this rough, rugged bumper. Perfect for an SUV.
So this is the point where I would usually say, what is the Peugeot 5008 like to drive? Well, this is actually where we get to introduce our new section to the video.
As you've noticed, we've now got a wide-angle lens, so you can see myself and Michael driving.
So we've got the 1.6 litre diesel here with 120 brake horsepower.
It is an AdBlue version as well.
That is something to consider because you will have to top that up every now and again, as well as with fuel.
But economy, see? I can't even speak. It's because...
Economy-wise?
Yes, economy-wise, you're talking, well, the book figures is, I think it's 65.7 to the gallon, which isn't bad for a 7-seater. And what have we done to 3/4 of a tank?
Yeah, we've done 3/4 of a tank, and we've done, what, 530 miles?
Exactly, so you're talking probably about a 700-mile tank.
Yeah, we don't really have many problems in believing that actually the fuel economy in this car is actually quite accurate.
Oh yeah, it's very good. And for a 7-seater, I mean, considering the weight, what we've noticed as well is regardless of the weight, it still seems to perform the same way. I mean, you will notice a slight difference. One thing that is noticeable from pulling away from roundabouts is there is a lack of power, but you can always engage sport mode and it will give you that nip that you need.
Like that's the thing, this engine still will pretty much perform the same over that you've got 2, 5 or 7
or a herd of elephants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if you are going to be doing a lot of motorway driving, then you probably want to opt for the 2-litre.
Yeah.
The gearbox is very, very smooth.
6-speed?
Yes. However, sometimes when you do pull away from a junction, you do have to get used to the fact that it's not quite as responsive as some of the German manufacturers.
Let's face it won't win any traffic light races, but that's not what it's for. It's a very smooth, it's a refined gearbox, and it puts the power down very well. You put the sport in and it will rev its little heart out.
Well, that's it. Like, it's in terms of a comfortable family cruiser, it's more than good enough.
Yes. It's very well teched out as well for your children. They've got little trays in the back, and then sit and play their iPads and have their privacy blind up and just have a very comfortable ride. And one thing we have noticed is if you're on uneven terrain, if you're going rather faster than slower, it's even more comfortable. It absorbs bumps extremely well.
Now, something that you might think, because this is a very large car, you might think that it handles like a boat, but it doesn't actually. I think it's thanks to this car having the small steering wheel that's carried over from the 2008.
It's very agile, isn't it?
And the 3000. Yeah, it's very responsive and it goes where you want it to go.
It does.
Like, it's obviously not a Formula 1 car, but in terms of this type of car,
Yeah.
I don't think you could actually get much better than that.
No, it is very responsive. Like you say, it goes exactly where you point it. And the other thing to notice is when you're manoeuvring and other type of what would you call it? Manoeuvres.
Yes.
It's light. It's light enough to spin around. It's got a great turning circle as well. Reversing it round a corner with the 360-degree camera and any other manoeuvres, a child's play with it. And it doesn't feel big, does it?
No, like overall it is very, very good. The ride and the handling is very good as well. Like, when you can actually put this car into a bend and it does come out the other side.
It does, yeah.
Because I have to admit, my sort of thoughts before driving would be...
Well, you thought it'd be underpowered, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it would be very underpowered, and I thought it would be quite wallowy, but it isn't. Like, I think in our own opinion, we would go for the 2-litre, just so you have that little bit more power.
Yeah.
But this is ample enough for city driving and the odd bit of motorway driving.
Perfect family vehicle, it really is.
Oh yeah, like, the thing is, most of these are probably going to be on the school run and that sort of thing. Yeah. So does the Peugeot 5008 get your seal of approval for driving?
Well, it does. It gets mine, certainly.
Definitely,
for the handling, the economy, the look of it. I mean, I do like its looks, especially with the black roof. It stands out.
Well, it's the sort of thing that we've been talking about for covering events and, you know...
Yeah, a crew vehicle, it'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because it just provides that perfect blend of being very practical, being able to transport people, but still being engaging enough to drive and economical and not costing more than, you know, a gold mine to buy.
Yeah. And looks apart.
And it looks pretty cool as well.
Yeah. Does it get your seal of approval then?
I think that explained it, didn't it?
Yeah. But I do have to ask these things because well, the MPV has now gone, hasn't it? They've all been replaced by SUVs. So SUVs are now cool.
I think,
and they're getting cooler.
I think, you know, if you are in the market for one, you know, a 7-seater SUV, take a look at the 5008 because it's well worth having a drive.
It is.
So what's our verdict of the Peugeot 5008?
Well, it's the perfect 7-seater. It's got great looks, it's got great economy, and it's rather big.
Well, yeah, it's very practical. You can carry 5 adults and 2 children, no problem. You can carry, like, what is it, 3, 4, 5 children?
Yes.
2 adults, you're not going to have a problem. There's plenty of kit on the car, you can have autonomy, the infotainment system's very easy to use.
Well, the levels of autonomy on this car are quite unbelievable, aren't they? I mean, you've got your active cruise control, you've got your auto wipers, you've got your auto headlamps. It's very safe.
And GT line models add things like the panoramic sunroof and the electric massaging seats.
I mean, yeah, that's something we'd look at. And also another thing that we would look at is the 2-litre diesel engine. I mean, this is perfectly capable, but we prefer a little more oomph.
I think it would be, this is fine for city driving and the occasional motorway driving, but if you're going to be on the motorway a lot, the 2-litre will probably suit you better.
The Peugeot 5008 starts at 27,000. Our model is 29,000, but it's got the optional extras like the black roof.
Well, it's well worth it, like when you consider how much its rivals are, the Nissan X-Trail and the Skoda Kodiaq.
Yeah, it's got great levels of luxury, great levels of tech for that money.
If you're in the market for a 7-seater SUV, then this is well worth looking at.
And one thing to note, this is the Allure model. You can also get the GT line as well and a couple of other models. If you have any questions regarding this car in our review, please leave them below.
For more great impartial car reviews, check out our YouTube channel.